Urban Media Today talks sports with Ray Porter Jr., Vince Butts, and Trevin A. Jones on Urban Media Today Radio.
It's game time!
It's Urban Media Today talks sports. We got my man Ray Porter Jr. Ray Porter Jr. I don't know why he gets to say his name like that. Does he deserve that, Vince? I don't know. Don't answer, Vince. Don't answer. We got my man Vince Butts over here. Then we got Keith Platt Jr., Coach William Greg Hoy Jr., too many juniors up in here. But then we got another person. Got my man Mike Lindo. Mike, can I call you Mike? No, Mike Lindo. My man, he is the Director of Player and Family Engagement, newly appointed Director of Player and Family Engagement with the Detroit Pistons. Proud of you, bro. Real proud of you, man.
Congratulations.
Making big things happen. Yeah,
appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. No doubt. Glad to be here. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. Don't even put on no kid gloves. And just take the gloves off, because Keith Platt Jr., Ray Porter Jr., Vince, and Coach, they all talk sports, and they go for it, Mike. So you just got – I already know you can handle your own. So, you just jump in there. Especially when it comes to hoops, Vince. Vince, this is a basketball aficionado at the bottom of this screen right now. I'm talking about Mike Lindo. Y'all will find out in a minute. It comes to AAU ball, high school ball. I didn't realize you work with some 8th graders, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah, definitely. We the grassroots thing got lower and lower every year I was working in, which is a little bit crazy. But yeah, definitely. 8th grade, we did a development session actually player off court and family development session for 8th graders to kind of get them ready for high school and beyond. But it was a good time.
What's up. That's what's up. So, all right, what I'm going to do, you introduce yourself. What I mean by that is, what is a Director of Player and Family Engagement with an NBA team? And how excited are you to take on this new journey?
So the Director of Player and Family Engagement, my role is going to be basically how to acclimate players to playing professionally. As NBA players or people go into the NBA, they need just some adjustment period, figure out how to become an NBA basketball player. Like, what is the etiquette? What is the protocols? What are the regular things that NBA players know that they don't know as they will move into what they're doing? So as that person, I have to be able to, one, aid them, be a resource to them as they grow into full professional basketball players, veterans. So my whole position actually encompasses a lot of what happens with an NBA player, how they move, how they grow, everything that happens off the court. I just kind of got to be their resource. So is it finding realtors that are in the city? Is it handling some possible, let's call it, finding just things that you need as you transition from one city to another? Regular, everyday needs. So how do I show you around Detroit? How do I show you where to go, where not to go, where to eat, where not to eat? And then also it's engaging their families. So it's really a lot of player development involved, which is just how to develop people into professional basketball players. And then the family engagement part of that is players come, they bring their families, whether it's your parents or your children. How do we engage them and show them that there is a family aspect to this team? We want that to be shown. We want them to show that we care about them as a player and just show that the Pistons is a great place to be. So I'm actually like in the middle of a culture creator within the organization, along with my GM. I'm just following suit.
Wonderful. So basically, you prepping to be the next GM, right? That's what it sounds like.
I mean, I'm not getting ahead of myself. My job is to come in here and be the Director of Player and Family Engagement. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be a resource to these players and these families, and make sure that they know that the Pistons are here for them, just like they're here to be with us.
Sounds like some management to me. Managing, so that's awesome.
Most definitely.
So how much has your grassroots kind of development? Because I mean, just reading your resume is pretty impeccable. Going back to Howard when you was working with NASCAR and setting up tents at Howard University and setting up things like that. I mean, how much of that played a role in you getting to this point and being a resource?
I think all of it, like all of my experiences, failures, and successes have like pretty much built me to get to this point. I think my grassroots background specifically is unique. I've seen pretty much players transition from the 8th grade all the way to being professional players. Grassroots basketball touches a lot of levels, also touches a lot of industries because it is throughout the country. So I think by me seeing the development of children, literal children, become millionaires overnight, I think seeing that transition multiple times is just helping me see the mindset of a player, understand what they're going through, what they've seen. And then on the other side, I do have relationships with professional players in other places that I've just kind of known throughout time for whatever reason. And because I can kind of see both sides of the equation, I can see the starting point where you were in the 8th grade as a child, and then where you go to as a grown man, as a professional basketball player. I think me being able to see that timeline from somebody who's in adulthood, I think that helps me relate to players and then be able to then develop them off the court. And I think the development off the court is really just being there to work through whatever issues that someone may have, and not even to call issues, but just how you move through life. This isn't a university, this isn't a class, but this is something that you have to be diligent in and you have to work harder. So it's not even you're recreating the wheel. These players know what it takes to be successful because they're at the professional level. You just have to dig in a little bit harder. And I'm trying to just help show how that can happen. And because I've seen the process so many times, I've seen failure stories, I've seen ultimate success stories, I think that helps me. And that's what grassroots has given me over the time.
Great. You know, I've always wondered something. You know, you had mentioned the whole real estate aspect, and we know that when it comes to free agent signings, I'm sure, you know, that whole process of housing and everything is one thing, but what is it like when a player gets traded? I mean, you have to be one of the first ones to know about this trade before it goes public, because
I mean,
if you did real estate,
to be completely honest with you, this is my first go with an NBA team, so I haven't even experienced that myself. However, I would say, like in a regular space, like things happen every day, and this is the profession that you are in, where trades can happen and things of that nature. So I can't speak to what that's like. I look to learn and hopefully be successful at managing whatever obstacles or regular transactions happen with the team as we move forward.
I'll ask you in about 6 months.
So Lindo, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this: with the pandemic, has that allowed you to kind of walk into your job more because this is your first year, or had you had to hit the ground running because of the pandemic? What's been the good and the bad?
The good, well, one, I'm blessed to have this opportunity. So to get a job during a pandemic is like, that was amazing to me. Like, I thought that was wild. So, and I'm appreciative and grateful for having the opportunity during a pandemic. But I think the NBA and the team, just like the rest of the world, we're figuring out how we're moving forward during COVID. So I think it's really helped me get acclimated just to the position, because we're not as moving as fast as I think we would be moving. But at the same time, we're all, like the entire world is just kind of sitting, clapping their hands, waiting, kind of trying to figure out what's next. So I think that is the good and the bad. I'm seeing a lot early. And by some of that is just kind of we're waiting to see what our next steps are.
And speaking about next steps, man, and talking about good and bad, man, we are so far ahead of the game right now having Mike Lindo on our show, because the NBA just don't know what they're about to get into. What's about to happen there, they have no idea. Mike Lindo is not going to say anything because he's humble. But this brother, talking about good and bad and failures and successes, He's turned his failures into successes. He won't tell you that, but I'm going to tell you that. And I got other people that can back me up and say that when we look at this young man on the screen and see where he's ascended to. And that being said, man, I have to ask you this. Let's talk about Mike Lindo. I mean, this is the only brother I've ever seen. We would be on a football trip, and all somebody has to do is mention the word basketball and lights, boom, 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 like cameras all over the place. Because that's what Lindo was. And I think, is that truly where your heart is at times in basketball, or do you not have a particular sport?
Nah, basketball is definitely where my heart is. It's kind of always been. I just knew my hoop dreams ended early, so I made a transition to something I could play in high school for a little bit, and and then tried to see if I could figure my way back into basketball as fast as I could.
No doubt. And see, people don't know, and I'm gonna try to give y'all the inside too. I mean, I know this brother was designing uniforms at times. I don't know if he's still doing that. I know he's working with Under Armour. I know he's working with AAU teams. Big up Mr. Hill, because him and Mr. Hill would get into a conversation. Ed Hill, Jr., who was a retired sports information director from Howard University, was doing that for 30-something years. Lindo definitely knows what I'm talking about there. But have him and Mr. Hill get into a conversation about AAU hoops or any type of hoops, and it's like, forget it. You just jump in whenever you can. But talk about those experiences, as Coach referred to. How has that helped you get yourself ready for such a position, man?
No doubt. So, I mean, I started out, like you said, with Mr. Hill, or actually I started out at St. Albans High School back in D.C., and that kind of gave me, working with their athletic department, kind of gave me the overall sight of what it takes to run an athletic program as a whole. And then from there, transitioning to Howard University, working for the Hilltop, getting a background in writing, or using my writing background to be able to write articles for the only daily posting paper on a college campus at the time, which was awesome. Moving from there with Howard University and Mr. Hill, all those experiences, that was Mr. Hill was strictly communication. And then from there to the Washington Post and the Washington Redskins as a PR intern. All of those backgrounds and the various outlier events that I did, if it was a Nike basketball tournament, an Adidas camp, or RG3 camp, all of those things has given me a piece of what I need today to really just move in sports. Like now that I've gone through all of those things, I understand, one, from a communication standpoint, what to say and not to say and how I can use that to guide the players around and say things. I know what holes are. I know where you shouldn't step, where the landmines are and things of that nature. I also know how to run an event. And part of my player engagement duties and family duties is going to be event planning. I will have to put together events for players, for families, to ensure that they know that we care about them, and that we're putting together programming to show that we care about them and keep them engaged. So that's from like an event background. And I got like a piece of that from the basketball tournaments I did at Coolidge High School, or Anacostia running RG3's camp, and even at Under Armour. At Under Armour, we had 60 and 100 team tournaments in one building, and how to manipulate those pieces and make sure the puzzle is all the way put together to ensure that everything works. So those are just from like a work experience background. I mean, I went to Georgetown, I got my master's in sports management. So then I was able to put a technical side, a technical background to all the experiences that I had. And I think each of those things are going to allow me to excel at this particular role, because the players have gone one route, which is excel in athletics and be great at what you are, be the best at your position, work hard, and get to the highest ranking of basketball in the world. And then for me, I went a very different route, but we technically work for the same company. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how can I show you that you can use exactly what you're doing right now to do more than what you're doing? Because basketball is only at most, I mean, Vince Carter played 22 years, and that's the most ever. And you'd say life expectancy in America is above 65. So that's only 33% of his life. So what are you going to do for the next 20 to 40 years?
Wow.
How can I use my background to show them that there's more? And they have an advantage because people see them as celebrities. So how can you be a celebrity and also get what you need to get done as a regular person in this world? Because there's more to life than what would just be basketball.
No doubt. We got a future celebrity right here with us. He's a celebrity as far as I'm concerned. It's Urban Media Today Talk Sports. Our guest today, Michael Lindo, Director of Player and Family Engagement. As a member of the Detroit Pistons family, kudos to Detroit, Michigan, the whole state. Y'all know what you're doing. You got Mike Lindo up in the house. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come right back after this time out. My man John McCain got something to drop for you. Check this out. We'll be right back.
There was a guy in Food Lion pushing a shopping cart with one hand and using his other hand to hold his shirt over his mouth and nose because he didn't have a face cover. Now, he knew good and well before he left the house that he didn't have a mask, but his effort was so convincing. I mean, by all indications, working incredibly hard to practice one of the 3 W's. I couldn't be mad at him.
Urban Media Today Talks Sports. We got my man Vince Butts. Got KPJ, Keith Platt Jr. Got my man, well, not my man. Got Coach William Greg Hoy Jr. Doesn't sound formal or respectable if I say my man. But Coach William Greg Hoy Jr. playing for envelopes in the house. Got Ray Porter Jr. And my man Mike Lindo, Director of Player and Family Engagement for the Detroit Pistons. HBCU up in the house. I got to give the Howard family credit for that one too. The Bison. My man's are you from DC? You're from DC, aren't you?
You talking to me? Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what I thought. From DC. From DC as well. And we're asking Mike how his new journey is coming along and what he anticipates and his excitement and what he foresees. Man, I got to ask you this question as we move forward, Mike. You work really, really closely with the football team at Howard University. Well, the sports department, it's your sports information. How did that help you as well? Because you've seen a lot. You've seen failures. You've seen other people's successes and failures. You've seen other people who you projected to be a success actually become a success. But then you see those same stars actually plummet. And no disrespect to anybody that we're talking about. But, you've seen those experiences. Do you think that's prepared you for the sports life as far as the professional is concerned?
For sure, because I think during all of those ups and downs, you got to stay even keeled because life is going to come at you every day, no matter what. So I think just being able to say that I've seen this story and experienced this story possibly, that life goes on. Like no matter how bad it gets, no matter how good it gets, life goes on. So I think what sports information did.
Oh, I think we lost it for a second.
Sorry about that. And what sports information did for me was show me a lot about information and how important that is, and to know how A works with B, that doesn't work with C or D, but whatever the case may be, I think it showed me how points connect within, for Howard's sake, the athletic department, how that also works in hand with the university. And I think that's just how I moved into corporate America going into Under Armour. It showed me how all the parts connect, whatever the part may be, but information all has to come to the sports information department. So that showed me about just central hubs of knowing things, how to execute. One, at Howard, you wear a lot of hats in sports information. So it was kind of also connecting it to operations and how to manage operations within the space. So I think that just kind of prepared me and showed me how I need to move within other environments in the sporting world, just because sports information is just communication. And I took that to the Redskins, which I parlayed into moving through Under Armour and everything like that. So it's kind of giving me a way to speak and talk as I go from place to place.
Wow, man.
Good stuff.
I got a couple questions. A couple more questions if I can fire these off, Lindo. So you went pro, man. Even though basketball ended for you, and I'm in college recruiting, and I've seen you work. I've seen you in the gym with, like you said, with those 60, 80 teams, kids coming from all over the country. I've seen you work. And so when you start talking to recruits or being a high schooler, trying to go pro, and basketball ended for you, but you still made it to the pros. How was that journey, and how would you kind of talk to some of the young athletes that that if the ball's going to end one or whatever sport they're in, it's going to end, but you still can go pro. Can you coach us up on that or give a little
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think for me, I had a passion to actually be in sport. Like I always wanted to be in sports. So one, if that passion's there, this is going to be like an easy conversation because even when it's over, even when you can't play anymore, you can't do anything, you're gonna watch that game. You might have that jersey, you might play with your friends later on, you might want to do something. So like that itch, like for me, just like kind of stayed with me. Like now I'm in a gym every day. I walk past it 2 NBA courts every day as I walk into the office, and it's like, this is awesome. Like I'm in the space that I want to be. So there's the end goal that you can see, but it's the I guess the realization of that it can end. That's something that you have to deal with first. But to answer your question, I think the process is like wanting to be in it. And if you want to be in it, you're going to do whatever you can to be in it. And for me, I was blessed to be at Howard, to meet Mr. Hill, to be able to move around DC and get into so many different activities that gave me experience and got my name into the space so that I can be recommended to other places. So it's the same passion that you have that you're playing. It's just you're utilizing it differently. Like I'm not running through the office. I'm not making cuts off of file drawers and dribbling a basketball, but to be in the space and to still drive, to still do it because I'm doing something I like. So, and I feel like that's what you do when you play a sport. No matter how the aggression comes out, you're still doing something you like. So being in sport is just finding something you like and working it in there. Now, you're going to have to move that passion, that aggression into a different place. I don't know if it's going to be like communication or scouting or player development or just business, finance. Because I started out at Howard as an accounting major because I said everybody needs an accountant. I'm going to be an accountant, get on a sports team, and then I'm going to work my way around. And then I thought, like, nobody's going to want to hear what the accountant is saying about how to run their sports team at the moment, except for accounting things. So I'm just going to go into sports management. So having that passion, you can still utilize it, but you just got to get around and ensure that you're putting yourself in the right places to gain the right experience that gets you into the space. Like it took me a long time to get to this point. So it's not anything overnight. It's not anything fast. But it can happen. And if you apply yourself the same way you would do on the field, on the court, in the ring, whatever sport that you're playing, whatever activity it is that you want to do, use that same passion to be here and make yourself available and expose yourself to, like me, I worked for free for a long time. So there's a little piece of, you might have to work for free for a little bit to get exactly what you want. And if that's what it is, it's still the same passion. It's going to happen. You just got to believe in it. For me, pray on it often and push through. But it's the same passion that you have on the field. And network. That's how it pretty much all comes together. And network is a big word. It's not just a simple like move around. You got to meet the right people and make the right connections, have the right relationships, leave people feeling good when you talk to them. It's a long thing.
I often tell the recruits, like, nobody owes you anything. So, I mean, you went and took the opportunities. Like, you took your opportunities. It sounds like it. So am I right by saying that? You didn't wait on anybody to give you anything. You showed up.
Yeah, it's that you're right about that. Like, if something was available, if there was an opportunity there, I jumped at it. I did what I could to create my own opportunities in certain places, and that worked out as well. I ran a couple tournaments. I was also in the right place at the right time. There's also a little bit of timing. But you're right, Coach. Nobody owes you anything, so you got to show them why you need to be there. And I think that's a piece that I didn't mention. For me, I needed to show my value at every event that I attended. That was the number one thing. Like, oh, he's here. Oh, he's going to get things done. Like, we can put him in charge of this, and we don't even have to look that way again. Like, we'll know what's going on. So it's the same opportunity chasing. It's the same jumping at opportunity. It's the same exact passion, the vigor that you have. And it's Same thing as going to practice or working out. Like, I really don't want to get up and do this all day, but there might be this is going to give me good experience, and there might be something bigger here that I don't know. Like, who might walk into this place that I meet? So it's the same opportunity jumping and taking for sure.
So,
Good stuff indeed.
So let me tell you guys this. You are never going to see somebody so calm and so even keeled no matter what's going on around them. Been in situations with this young brother right here where could have lost his mind, but at the same time, he was like, all right, I got it. Let's just make it happen. And he'll keep rolling. I mean, and that's the honest to goodness truth. And I have to say to this, and I have to tell this story, Lindo. I have to tell this story.
Okay.
I'm gonna take you all back to Akron, Ohio, probably 7 years ago now. Can you believe that, Lindo? About 7 years.
Yeah, that's
It's
wild.
about 7 years ago. So, Mr. Hill and Howard University, they asked me to be a play-by-play person, and we didn't have a color commentating person at the time. It was just me. So me thinking, okay, I got experience. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna handle this, no problem. Brothers, I was drowning. I went through the whole first half of that game. It's the first time I did it for Howard, play-by-play. And I'm nervous, and I'm trying not to show that I'm nervous. And I look over to my left, and there's this young cat who's supposed to be my producer now. And I'm thinking I'm big time because now I got a producer. And it's just me. I'm gonna call this game. So Mr. Hill came and checked him. He said, "Yo, bro, you okay? You got this? You got this?" I'm like, "Yeah, Mr. Hill, I'll make it happen." I looked at Lindo. Mr. Hill was like, "Well, Mike." And Mike, had you ever done color commentating before that?
No.
Not at all. Had you ever been behind the mic before that?
Yeah, I had a podcast at WHUR. Another job off the beaten path, but definitely something I did.
Okay.
Trying to get on.
All right. So Mike sits down next to me, and let me tell you, for the next 3 years after that, man, we did basketball, we did football, we did everything for Howard University for 3 years without missing a beat. And that's what I'm telling you. This young brother right here, he'll be so calm, cool, and collected, can step in and make things happen. And if you sleep on him, you better not sleep because he's going to leave you behind. You'll be 10 paces behind while he's keeping it moving. Like, yo, what happened? You were supposed to be, I thought you was next to me. No, you're not next to me. Come on up here. And he's so selfless. And I say that with the most appreciation and respect because I say that because he's that selfless. Like, he will excel. And that's why I said the Detroit Pistons, kudos to you because they know what they're doing when they look at this individual. He's so selfless that once he gets to where his goal is, he looks around to see if the people that were coming with him are still with him. And if you're not still with him, he'll wait for you. And that's amazing. While he's still, like, you could be drowning. He's treading water, and while you're coming up, he's waiting for you to come back to the surface. So, yo, come on, let's go ahead and make this happen. So this brother, I'm telling you all, Akron, Ohio, Howard University, that first game, I was drowning. By halftime, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know what's going to happen. My confidence was shot. Mike Lindo jumped in there and started talking. Man, we hit this chemistry and just kept on rolling for the next 3 years. So, brother, I got to give you the utmost respect and tell you kudos for that. Came to a point where he had to do a game by himself. And he's like, yo, Trev, I don't think I can do this. Coach, guess who was next to him when he had to do the game by himself? Miss Tiffany Hoyd. Tiff was there.
No doubt.
And they handled it like champs. Like, I'm telling you, that was just – it's amazing to see young people just do so much and they can excel because I don't think Tiff had any experience before her and Mike hooked up at that time. And then from that point on, it became the three of us and we were rolling. Yeah. So I said all that to say it was not even about me. It was the mere fact that you're watching these two up and coming stars just you could see it in their eyes. It's like, I'm not afraid of that. I can do this. It's like, all right, Trev, what you want me to do next? All right, so I got this. Yo, Trev, what happened to you? You're supposed to keep up with me now. So that's the type of thing. I had to tell that story, man, because Mike
cool.
He was always supposed to be a producer. This brother running around carrying luggage and everything out. Like, yo, you want me to carry that? I'm like, no, man, come on, you got to sit down because we got to do this game.
That was the beginning of a dynasty right there. That's all. That was a good time. That had to happen. That was the beginning of a dynasty.
I see that. And I learned, and I say that with utmost respect, too, because I see in you anything that you put your hands on, it just becomes successful. So Detroit Pistons, again, you made the right move with this young brother right here because he's going to make it happen. And I had to say to you, thank you. Because man, you talk about humility. What? The things that we went through.
Cool.
Yeah, no doubt. But
All right, so who's gonna be the first? Who's gonna be the pick? Who's gonna be the Pistons pick? Come on, let's talk. Let's talk some basketball
we ain't even
now.
doing that. Nah, I ain't even getting into that one.
Let's talk some basketball, man.
Nah,
Come on,
you
man.
ain't about to
Find
get me
out
on
what's
that
up,
one.
man.
That's that communications background I got. You ain't
No
gonna get me
doubt,
on that
right?
one. No, sir. No, sir. That's one of them landmines.
Come on, Lindo, you can't leave us hanging like that, man.
No, sir. No,
Yo,
sir.
Coach, he trying to tell you he just got his job. He ain't trying to lose
You know
it
what I'm
already,
saying?
man.
So I'm just following suit. Everybody working, I'm working.
Well, Trev, I'm
Real
gonna tell
quick.
you, I think the kid from Dayton should be the first pick. The kid from Dayton is a beast.
Oh, that's what you gonna tell me. Okay.
I'm telling you that. So I'm lying. The kid
On
from
that
Dayton.
note- on
The
that
kid
note,
from Dayton. Let me say it. Obi,
It's
the kid from
halftime
Dayton.
on Urban Media Today Talk Sports. We're gonna take a real quick break. We'll be right back. My man John McCann got some dollars to drop for you here to have. We're here with my man Mike Lindo from the Detroit Pistons family, Director of Family and Player Engagement, correct?
Yeah, that's it. Player and family engagement, however you want to say it. Either way, back and forth, it's both. We there.
Okay, gotcha. We're gonna come right back after this time out.
There was a guy in Food Lion pushing a shopping cart with one hand and using his other hand to hold his shirt over his mouth and nose because he didn't have a face cover. Now, he knew good and well before he left the house that he didn't have a mask, but his effort was so convincing. I mean, by all indications, working incredibly hard to practice one of the 3 W's, I couldn't be mad at him.
So it's back with the kickoff after the first half. Mike Lindo, he got to step out. The man is that busy. He's making big things happen. We just want to say to you, Mike, thanks for being here and giving us your time. We truly appreciate you today.
No, I appreciate all you guys for sure. I'm glad to be here. We can do this again when Coach not trying to get secrets out of me for sure.
Right? Coach chase him away.
Man, you know, we're trying to
No,
push
I'm
that
just
envelope,
playing
man.
with you.
Trying to see what's going
It's
on
all
out there.
love. No, I'm just playing. It's all love.
We wish you the best, man. Be safe and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Y'all be blessed for sure.
All right, no doubt.
All right, brother.
All right, fellas. Since Coach brought up a good point, let's go ahead and jump in the NBA. We can talk about it now, Coach, because we don't want to get Mike in trouble or anything like that. But you really think that the player from Dayton should be the first pick in the NBA draft when it happens?
Oh man, that dude is super versatile, man. He can shoot from the wing, man. He can dunk on you. I think he led the whole league in dunks this year before the pandemic hit. The dude is a beast, man. I mean, of course you got the kid from Memphis, the big 7'1" kid, but you know, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, that dude, he did it against Georgia. He balled against them, and then when you played against the little boo-boo teams, he beat them up like he should.
What you think, Vince? Because I
The-
know
the-
Keith
the-
got something to say. Keith gonna jump in on this one, I know, but go ahead, Vince.
I think the kid out of Dayton is Obi Toppin. I think he's talented. The league is moving towards guard play. So you know, Anthony Edwards out of Georgia, Ball kid, LaMelo Ball. You know, everybody seems to want to have that guard that can push it and create and score and defend. So I mean, as good as Toppin is, and I like the kid Wiseman out of Memphis, like you said. I think the NBA is a guard league now. You know, as long as big men are versatile, which I know James Wiseman had some questions as to whether he can step out on the perimeter and make some shots. I know Tobin is a little bit more versatile as a big man, but to me, it's all about versatility. If he can diversify his game and be a nice stretch to go inside, outside, I think the world his talent is unlimited, you know, in what he can accomplish.
So you think you say that the NBA is a guard league now, and I hear you, but I kind of disagree because I mean, look at the Houston Rockets. You know, I mean, if you think of guards, I mean, they want small ball and they're sitting at home. You look at the Clippers. They tried to change it a little bit, but I mean, I kind of disagree. But I have to say this: if I look at a ranking. I see that the top 3 players are guards. You got LaMelo Ball, You got Killian Hayes, and then you got Tyrese. Was it Halliburton?
What rankings are them?
Yeah, this is from. I ain't even gonna put him out there like that, but yeah.
Yeah, wait till you see my rankings.
But go ahead, say it. Who you got?
What you mean with the first pick?
Yeah.
Well, that's what Coach was saying. Who's the first pick?
Yeah, first pick. You got if you the T-Bulls, you take Anthony Edwards, but hey, Coach, that dude Obi Toppin is the truth. He's the truth. He remind me of Amari Stoudemire, but I got him probably going to like Cleveland or Chicago. Like it's all about fit. You know what I'm saying? Yep. But he bought out for Dayton, and yeah, I think he's gonna be pretty good. The league got to work on his defense. But yeah, he's a hell of an athlete. Yeah, I seen he had 10 dunks in one game before. But if you want the number one pick though, it's Anthony Edwards, hands down, Minnesota T-Wolves. He's the best shooting guard. He's like a D-Wade and Donovan Mitchell mixed in one. Like, I think he's gonna be special. I think Anthony Edwards is that dude.
Yeah, okay. That's the kid from Georgia, right?
That's
a one-on-one player, super athleticism. Watch him against Michigan State. He had like 38 against Michigan State. He's that dude. He's the next top shooting guard coming in the league in the next 3 years, guaranteed.
So
KP,
you agree?
I challenge you to go watch that Dayton game.
I watched Dayton all year. If the pandemic when they came there and went to the Final Four, they messed around with a whole tournament.
Did you see when they played Georgia?
Did you just say they won the whole tournament?
Then we lost one game, Trevin.
Yes, Trevin.
But you said they would have won the whole tournament.
Huh?
Man, you said they would have won the whole tournament.
More than likely, they'd have went to the Final Four. I guarantee. They had like a top. They were rated top 5 in defense. Nobody could stop him. They was running through the Atlantic 10.
Mm-hmm. You running through the what?
There's probably gonna be a number 1 or number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, guaranteed.
Okay, but they were running through what conference again?
The Atlantic 10.
Say that conference again.
Come on, man. It's college basketball, man. Anything's possible. Don't do that.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. But I'm saying you said they would have won the whole tournament, and then you said, yeah, they tearing up the Atlantic 10. The Atlantic 10.
They won a non-conference games too. They beat some top non-conference opponents.
Okay, I'm not disrespecting Dayton right now. I'm just asking you about the fact that you said they
was good, man.
Okay, I know. Obi was good. Obi was a beast. I seen him with a couple of his dunks and all that.
Tough.
I mean, nobody could stop him. He was a man amongst boys. But I mean, you still, I don't know, bro. The whole tournament, Coach. You saying that too?
I said it's the Sweet 16. It definitely would have been there because, like you said, they would have been number 1 seed and they would have had like a cakewalk all the way through to the Sweet 16. And I'm gonna tell you now, wasn't nobody stopping him on the outside. He was running the wing, and then they were throwing lobs to him, and nobody was getting up there with him. And he was coming down. He was running the court.
So, I ain't mad at it.
He was doing in-game dunks. Did you see people doing dunk contests? That's how much of an athlete this dude is. Like he's doing windmills who does a windmill in a game?
I feel you on that, and that's cool.
Against Georgia.
But
against Georgia.
Yeah, and that's fine too. But I mean, that's one dude.
Dunks in one game. Only Shaq was doing that, bro.
But yeah, well, okay, all right. I don't know. 20
points off a dunk, Trevor. I'm just saying. 20 points off all dunks, man. And he only about 6'9" and a half.
He's 6'9". He's a power forward. Weigh about 250. He's probably up there, like maybe more than that.
He's a Amari Stoudemire clone than me. He might be a Amari Stoudemire.
All right, so I mean, okay. I'm not feeling the whole tournament, but the conversation was who's the number 1 pick. So Coach said Obi should have been the number 1 pick. Keith says that Anthony Edwards should be the number 1 pick. Vince says it's a guards game now. The NBA is a guards game. I ain't buying that, Vince, because I'm looking at the Los Angeles Lakers about to win the whole thing, so I'm not even buying it's a guards game. But then Ray sitting over there quietly with that. I don't know where he got on his shoulder over there, and then he got on the background. But Ray sitting over there not saying anything.
Oh, I'm
so
before I got an answer for you, brother. I got an answer.
Go ahead.
Before the Lakers get crowned NBA champions, they got to get through Denver.
Oh God!
They'll beat them in 6, bro.
They'll beat Denver, man. They'll take 7 games.
First and foremost, Denver is 1-3 against the Lakers during the regular season, even though they were close games. All right, they're 1-3. Now I'm saying, since you're gonna take it there, Denver's on fire. I got you. They got 2 players who's lighting it up. I got you there. You still got to get past LeBron James, and you got to get past the brow. If the brow stays in every game like Coach says, please show up. Matter of fact, Coach, when you said that the Browns disappeared, he scored 29 points the next night. He must have heard you. So then you got the Brown, and then you got the rest of the Lakers. You got Rondo, who's another coach on the court now. I don't know, Vince. I don't see it happening, bro. I don't see it happening.
24 fouls for Jokic.
All I'm-
big men that could throw at him.
Hey, Houston.
All I'm saying is just don't discard Denver. They've been battle tested this year, and they're passing all the tests. I don't think they're going to be easy out for the Lakers, and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Denver goes 7 and gives them a fight on that 7th
Hey, you
game.
got a lot of shit, man. They don't play good enough defense, bro. They don't guard good enough.
Who plays defense in the Lakers?
The whole team. What you mean? The whole team plays defense.
Hey, Rondo set that defense up a long time ago when he hit that left, when he hit Chris Paul in the mouth with that left. When he hit him.
Always hitting somebody in the
Houston
mouth.
didn't want no more of that. They were like, nah, we good.
Playoff Rondo been balling, man.
Yo, speaking about defense real quick, and not to just change the whole subject. Did you see Bam's block of the dunk in the game with the Heat and the Celtics
One
in
of the
game
best
1?
plays I've ever seen in my life.
Magic Johnson called it the best defensive play of all time. I don't know if it's that,
that's crazy.
but bruh. But I have to say, Bam went up, and his wrist did not bend. You know, and it's like he was blocking a dunk. It's not like he was just blocking a shot. It was an attempted dunk. So you know you had to be strong, man. Your hands and your wrists and your arms, your forearms had to be strong.
When LeBron did that to Iguodala, that was the best blocks I ever seen.
But didn't LeBron do it from behind?
Yeah, and
did he catch up to Iguodala?
So the pressure was way more intense. It was game 7 too.
Yeah, but I'm saying LeBron caught up from behind and blocked that away. It's like Bam was right.
A dunk. It was a layup. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's the force of a dunk. When you go up and you're trying to dunk, not like I could ever do it on a regular basis.
Big.
I did it a couple times though. But when you go up and you're trying to block somebody's dunk, it's like you're trying to come in with full force, and somebody can block it like that. That's crazy.
That was big.
Anyway,
man.
I had to bring it up.
That's straight physics, man.
Say what?
What's the dude's name? Tatum that tried to dunk on him? What's his name?
Jason Tatum.
What do he weigh? About 140 pounds? He look like.
He looked like he weighed 140 pounds.
Yeah, what kind of force is that to a 6'11" kid? I mean, come on, real talk. Get in the weight room.
I bet you he was in the gym the next day. I bet you he was lifting weights for this game. But no disrespect, man.
That's what mine will do for you. They'll get you in the gym the next day. They taking names.
Hey,
yeah,
Vince,
they taking names.
Let me tell you those. But Vince, let me tell you this though, the Clippers are the JV team for LA. So.
Well, I got something to say about them.
And if I may, the views and opinions of the individuals on this show are not the views and opinions of Urban Media Today Talk Sports. I just want to make sure that everybody that sees that knows.
Of course they're not, because they'd all be Steeler fans if that was the case. So there.
Oh, let's not go there, man. Are you kidding me right now? But wait a minute. So, Vince, you think that the Joker is going to get Denver past the Lakers?
I'm not saying. I think they have the potential to win that series. Joke is he's literally not a joke. Like we have to. Who's gonna defend him? AD? Nah.
They got 4 bodies they can send out, and he ain't seen no athleticism like Harris, McGee, and Anthony
I was gonna say.
Davis. Are you kidding me? And they can throw Marquise Morris at him.
You can throw
fouls,
him.
Vince got 24 fouls. They got bodies for him.
Is it that simple? It's never.
6'7", man.
Dude, it ain't never that simple. You got 24 fouls you throw at him. No, the dude is.
You think we got Zubich and Montrezl around our team with the Lakers? We got some trees. Dwight Howard, defensive player of the year, man. Wait a minute. How much in the last series? How much did Dwight Howard play? He didn't play that much. How many? Listen. How many DMPs, coaches' decisions did he have in that series? That's because it was small ball, though.
If you're dominant, if you got a dominant big team, throw them out there and don't let the other team dictate what you do. Throw your guys out there.
Vince, you know that.
I gotta ask this question though. Keith? Did you say that Dwight Howard was the defensive player of the year?
How many years ago?
At one point in time.
Oh, at one point in time. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say there ain't no way in HE double hockey sticks Dwight Howard was defensive player of the year this past year.
At one point in
last
time, he's still a heck of a defender, and he can guard big men.
I'm gonna say that, but
he can guard him.
But he's not. But he's not pseudo Superman anymore.
No,
so it's like, yo.
I'm not saying he can contain him. I'm not saying he's gonna shut him down like Mutombo or nothing. But he can hold him down.
Let me tell you this. They can put LeBron James on him and shut him down.
I was gonna say LeBron. I can see LeBron.
He ain't got no D anyway. He's just the offensive player. He's a point center. He's a good player though. He ain't got no D. He ain't blocking nobody's shot.
Okay, so let's ask this, Vince. Is he gonna guard LeBron James?
Who?
That's a mismatch.
So who's gonna guard LeBron James from Denver?
I mean, LeBron's gonna get his. There's no question about that. But
who's gonna guard him though? Because if you got to guard him, you're not gonna be able to play on offense because you're gonna be really beat up. So who's gonna guard him for Denver?
I mean, look,
Vince, don't answer that, Vince. Don't answer that, Vince. Let's hold on a second. That's the end of the third quarter. It went that fast. You see what happens when they get into it? Got to jump in like a referee. Like, hold it. Bring this back to your corners. We're gonna take a quick break. That's the end of the third quarter. Urban Media Today talking sports. We're talking NBA. You wouldn't know it though, but we're talking NBA. We'll be right back. My man John McCann got to drop his knowledge on you.
There was a guy in Food Lion pushing a shopping cart with one hand and using his other hand to hold his shirt over his mouth and nose because he didn't have a face cover. Now, he knew good and well before he left the house that he didn't have a mask, but his effort was so convincing. I mean, by all indications, working incredibly hard to practice one of the 3 W's, I couldn't be mad at him.
It's Urban Media Today talks sports. We got my man in this corner, Vince Butts. Over in this corner, you got KPJ, Keith Platt Jr., and you got Ray Porter Jr. observing, and your referee is Coach William Greg Boyd Jr. We're about to get it on.
Man, I got me some popcorn, man. What you talking about? Get your popcorn ready.
Talking the Lakers and the Nuggets, which happened. The game 1 was Friday night. The Heat is giving the Celtics all they can handle over there in the East. Game 2 was on Thursday. The Heat walked away with game 1. Not walked away, but won their way through game 1. So we got into this great debate on what's going to happen with the Lakers and the Nuggets moving forward. And I'm hoping to wrap that one up real quick. Keith, I agree with you. I see the Lakers might have bodies to throw at the Joker. But then Jamal Murray, I mean, man, dude's been lighting it up. Like, for real. Like, where did he come from? And the key, I think, for the Nuggets is the fact that they've been down 3-1 twice in the same playoffs and came back and pulled it out.
Right.
So
to me, that's going to help them. And they're a young team that knows they can come back. So if they get down early, they're not going to wilt under the pressure. You know, they're a team that they've been, sort of battle tested already. And I don't think it's a question of who's going to stop LeBron. LeBron's going to go, if LeBron wants to get 30, he's going to go get 30, and nobody's going to stop him. But on the flip side, you have Jamal Murray, who's going to stop him? I mean, if he goes for 40 and 50, and Jokic is dropping triple doubles, that to me, that makes Denver really, really tough to beat. I'm not saying that they're going to win. What I'm saying is it's not going to be an easy rollover. Denver, they're going to come to play. They're going to come to play. And in some ways, they're playing with house money because they have nothing to lose.
Definitely are. I still got the Lakers in 6, though, man. But as far as who can watch Murray, we could throw Caruso on him to pester him, Caldwell Pope, Danny Green. We got some bodies for him. J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith played. I mean, just because guys are on the roster doesn't mean they're playing. So, I mean, in theory, you have
spot dude.
Has he played at all this postseason?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's played a couple games.
A couple games. I mean, so now we're in the Western Conference Finals. How much are they going to trust him now? I know he has experience, but I don't think they're just going to be like,
yo. Defender though, Vince. I'm not saying that. The main defender's probably going to be Caldwell Pope and Alex Caruso and Danny Green.
I'm not even calling J.R. Smith's name. He's irrelevant. Just because he's a body, he's on a roster, doesn't mean he's going to come in and he's going to defend. I mean, really, what does J.R. Smith have to offer? If he hasn't offered anything now.
I feel what you're saying. I was just naming bodies that they could throw at Murray, bro. That's all.
I mean,
probably the last in line to do that.
Look, I'm going to laugh out of you. So the Denver Nuggets can throw Mason Plumlee out there.
Yeah, he's the backup center.
That's 6 fouls. What is that? But that's not going to happen. I mean, we know in playoff time, rosters get short, and this is getting to be crunch time. So the guys that have really put in the work to get you to this point are going to continue to be the guys that push you forward. I think it's critically important for AD to be the superstar that he is, night in, night out. Like, he can't take a night off.
No, not this series, and I don't see it happening. I think he's in the groove right now.
Hey, Vince, what I can see, though, is I can see the Lakers playing some of those going a little deeper in their bench for the finals, because if you come up against a team like the Heat or Boston, those guys have to have minutes. JR is going to have minutes in this series because those teams have some really good dynamic youth, and you're going to have some legs that are rested, or some legs that are able to kind of give you, even if it's 10 minutes, the entire game, give you something of productivity. And that's why I think this maybe this series is going to allow, maybe we might see that. That's just my opinion here as a coach. I'm looking at it like, okay, not to be looking over the Denver Nuggets, but just to kind of say, if I do, I better have these guys have a little bit of hours, a little bit of minutes up on their legs, so they can be able to play against those Eastern Conference teams.
I hear what you're saying, but if a guy is going off, like if Jamal Murray is going off, I mean, nobody's like, it doesn't matter who you bring off the bench. Like, they're not really going to have an effect because they're coming in cold. So, I mean, I think, you stick with guys and you ask guys to give you a little bit more, dig a little bit deeper, offer a little bit more resistance. Hey, you can foul in this situation or whatever, but I don't see some of those guys that we're mentioning are going to have that much of an effect. I just don't see it. Not at this point. Maybe if you had gotten the chance to get those guys minutes early in the playoffs, I think it's a different story.
Okay.
They could stop Jamal Murray, and Dame Lillard's way better than Jamal Murray. So, like I said, man, Lakers in 5 or 6 games, man. Jamal Murray's the truth, though. Hey, Trevin, can I say one thing, Trevin?
Go ahead, man.
Before the COVID shutdown, I don't know if y'all guys remember, we had that little basketball jet. And you know who I picked as my shooting guard? Jamal Murray.
Yeah, you did. I remember that. But let me say this real quick. Valid points, gentlemen, but just pay attention, Vince. The Nuggets had to play 2 series where they won 7 games. The Lakers have much more rest. So if this series goes long, I can see the Lakers just merely outlasting the Nuggets.
I bet that was said at the end of the first series.
So what? That's the end of 1 series. Now you got 2 series under your belt. So now you done played 14 games to the Lakers. What, 7? Are you serious? The Lakers are gonna be well rested. Yeah, but they got more rest. That's all I'm saying. So I'm just looking out for that. Anyway, gentlemen, I hate to cut y'all short because that was a good fight. I don't know who won. But anyway, everybody's still standing. So what we're going to do real quick is coming up on the end of the show. Man, like they was duking it out. Go around the table real quick. You know how we do. Ray Porter Jr., we're going to start with you first. What you got, man?
From the world of the NFL, after week 1 has concluded, I wanted to give shout-outs to 2 players. Number 1, from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Juju Smith-Schuster. It's nice to see that he looked like he got his swagger back, got his groove back, and led the team with 69 yards on 6 catches with 2 touchdowns. And he admitted that he had lost his fun from last year, dealing with struggles like injury. So good to have him back, as well as the New England Patriots quarterback Cam Newton, who led his team to victory over the Miami Dolphins, and that which included 2 touchdowns by his legs, rushing touchdowns. And good to see him back. Good to see him there. I mean, he can basically say what LL Cool J said, don't call it a comeback because I've been here for years, because he didn't He didn't deserve to. He didn't have to prove nothing. He is still who he is. So kudos to Cam and Juju.
Dope.
All right, Vince, Bus, what you got, man?
Yeah,
As long as it's not about the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Lakers, we're good.
No, I'm good. I'm good. You know, I'm getting kind of tired of athletes changing, and not just athletes, but people changing the narrative during this season. From two football players, two Steelers backtracked or Antoine. They had Antoine Rose's name. The team agreed to have Antoine Rose Jr.'s name on the back of their helmets. Villanueva, offensive lineman, decided he didn't want to do that. He wanted to have an Army veteran that he served with, and one of the Pouncey brothers, Marquise, said that he wished that he would have done more research before he agreed to wear the kid's name on his helmet. And I find it frustrating that we are still changing the narrative. Like it's not a veteran issue. It's Black Lives Matter right now, and some things need to be said. Some conversations need to be had. We got to continue to talk and not change what we're doing. The NFL has a whole month, if I'm not correct, where they pay homage to the military. Correct?
Okay.
So during that time, Alejandro Villanueva can show his support for the veterans. This is the season where we've got to come together and stop dividing and stop changing the narrative. Too many people are trying to cause division instead of us coming together and having these tough talks and realizing this is a dire situation. I mean, if we don't make a change now, when is that change going to come? NFL players have a whole month where they can wear whatever they want on their shoes. So during that time, how about you talk about whatever you want to talk about then, and leave this season for what it is, and let's not change the narrative and forget about the true what we're really trying to accomplish here. Like police reform should be at the top of the list of what we're trying to change. I can agree that as much I'm not necessarily a police supporter, but I support what they do. I don't want them to disband, but that doesn't mean they don't need to change. So let's keep the focus where the focus should be.
No, I feel you. Told you, Vince dropping gems, man. Yeah. What you got, Keith Platt Jr., KPJ Platt's point of view?
I want to give a shout out to my favorite quarterback in the world. His name is Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh my
He was 21 out of 32, 65% of his passes, 3 touchdown passes, and 117 quarterback rating. They doubted him. His arm is shot. He's too old. Last time I checked, about 2-3 days ago, his arm looked better than Drew Brees and Tom Brady. So all I want to say is, don't sleep on the Steelers and Big Ben Roethlisberger. That's my quarterback.
Keith Platt Jr., KPJ, yeah. And the P in the middle doesn't stand for Platt; it stands for Pittsburgh. What you got, Coach Hoy?
Man, that dude Keith, man, that's a hard thing to follow up with KP, man. That dude's fired up, bro. That dude's fired up, man. But I got 3 things, man, and I don't want to be long-winded, but the one was really disappointing, man, to see I don't know if he's a rapper or entertainer, the dude Corday. He stole Naomi's, her shine when she won the U.S. Open, man. He put the middle finger up, while she was holding the trophy. Just really kind of bashed that moment right there. Who's the PR people around her? Please get around her, help her out with that. And I understand people have the right to, freedom of speech, things of that nature. But that was a grand moment, winning the U.S. Open for Naomi, and to have it just, hijacked by that moment. Get some good people around her. The second thing is, I just got a text message, man. Jackson State just released their itinerary to announce their new head coach. on September 20th. And if you guys have been paying attention, prime time, Deion Sanders is been mentioned, been rumored to be the head coach. And I just got a text message that they were going to be releasing the new head coach's name to the team via Zoom call on Monday. So that's going to be exciting to see that come out. All right, that's pretty exciting. And then lastly, Rapper Plies came out with a video talking about shout out to LeBron James for adding $100,000 reward for the officers that was shot here on the West Coast. There's you might have heard about the two sheriffs that were attempted assassination here on the West Coast. And LeBron James kicked in some money. So the reward is $100,000 for that person. But also shout out to Plies for mentioning also that there's been no reward for the assassination of Breonna Taylor. And we know where that guy is. So maybe we should put together a GoFundMe to find to find the person or acknowledge the person that's went in and shot Breonna Taylor and killed her, and get some results there. And that is all I have to say.
There you have it. Urban Media Today talks sports. We got my man Ray Porter Jr., Vince Butts, Keith Flatt Jr., and Coach William Greg Hoyd. Special thank you today to our guest in the first half, Mr. Michael Lindo, the new Director of Player and Family Engagement with the Detroit Pistons. Michael Lindo, keep that name in the forefront of your mind. He's about to do some big things. We thank him for spending some time with us today. That's a wrap for this show. We're going to see you all next weekend. Don't make Vince mad. Don't make Keith mad. Matter of fact, don't make Ray mad. And Coach will drop some knowledge on you, but he gets mad. So we hope to see you all back next weekend. Have a good weekend.
On the show, man. A great show tonight.
Urban Media Today talks sports every week on Urban Media Today Radio, where you can listen in on free music and podcasts on our SoundCloud station at Urban Media Today. And for more information, log on to urbanmediatoday.com. Your lifestyle, entertainment, and sports blog website.
What type of games being played? How's it doing that? I get up, all right?